The NFL Today on CBS is presented by the all-new 2022 Grand Wagoneer.
And welcome back to the NFL Today. And now Amazon takes you out to the sights and sounds of the game between the Ravens and the Bears. Let's take you out to Chicago with our announcers, Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson.
JB, we've got blue skies over Chicago. The Ravens and the Bears are coming up on CBS. The big headline, again, Lamar Jackson inactive, out with illness, not COVID-related. Hello, friends. Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, more on that in just a moment. But you've got the Ravens trying to bounce back from a bad loss at Miami 10 days ago. And meanwhile, the Bears are coming off a bye. But before that, they almost won at Pittsburgh and showed maybe the best growth of the season for them.
I agree. When you watch that second half, you're dying to see your young quarterback take that next step, right? And maybe that was the moment where things started to click, and all of a sudden you see him like, this game's going to slow down a little bit. But you're seeing him learn football every rep, every day, every game he plays, and I think they're really excited about his development and what's happening. I think they want to see it again today, though.
Well, one thing we are going to see today is a first start for Tyler Huntley, second year out of Utah, undrafted a year ago. He did get first-team snaps on Wednesday and Thursday. Lamar came back, had a full practice on Friday, but then he digressed yesterday, and they scratched him from the lineup 90 minutes before kickoff. And this kid, he may not have thought all week, I'm really going to play, but he is. He's the quarterback today.
He's the quarterback today, and what a moment right there. What an opportunity for a young man. Practice your whole life to get in a situation like this. You know he's ready. He's nervous, though, right now, Jim, and I think he's got to protect the ball early in this game. But I actually like, he does some things I think people are going to be surprised when they watch him play.
For more on the Ravens quarterback situation, down to the sidelines, and here's Tracy.
Well, Jim, Lamar Jackson remains in the locker room right now dealing with that illness. You mentioned it. It is not COVID. It's not the flu. They don't know what it is, but they're hoping that rest will do him good. In terms of Tyler Huntley, I spoke with John Harbaugh about him yesterday. He said the reason why they signed him was because he can run the same offense as Lamar Jackson. I was also told he has a quiet confidence about him. This will not be too big for him. And John Harbaugh told me right before the game he went over, he gave him a big hug, and he said, let's go play football.
Thank you, Tracy. Meanwhile, Justin Fields and the Bears. I mentioned the game against Pittsburgh. They put up 21 points in the fourth quarter, nearly winning that game in the Steel City. And he's gotten better, it's fair to say, I think, Tony, virtually every single week of the season.
Yeah, and he's coming from Ohio State where it was just look at one guy and throw. Well, now he's having to read the field and get to it. But guess what? He can throw the ball in tight, contested windows, and he keeps showing these flash plays each week. Stand in, take a hit, and fire between the safety on a seam route last week. Wow, and then he makes some other plays, right? Rolling left, he makes this look easy, Jim, like it's a little 3-foot putt. That's rolling left, throwing on the sideline. I mean, wow plays each week. That needs to continue, but he just needs to learn football. It just takes time. That's it.
Who said a 3-foot putt is ever easy for some of us?
I mean, it's not even
mortals.
for me. For you.
Meantime, on defense for the Bears, Khalil Mack is done for the season. Put him down on IR earlier this week, but you've got Roquan Smith and Robert Quinn. They've had good seasons, and now they've got to carry the load for this D.
They really have to, and I can tell you they have some depth on this defensive side of the ball. That's a huge blow, not having Hicks and Mack today. I think this is a really challenging offense to go against. You need those big guys, but these two need to step up.
Matt Nagy and the Bears are at 3-6. Harbaugh and the Ravens at 6-3. They're ready to go in the Windy City. Coming up on CBS. About to get his first NFL start, in for the inactive Lamar Jackson, out with illness. Justin Fields' 8th career start, the rookie for the Bears. It's coming up on CBS.
CBS Sports welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
For the third weekend of November, it's a nice day here in Chicago. And before kick, let's go to Tracy.
Well, thanks a lot, Jim. Even with the extra rest, both teams missing some big names, and we'll we'll start with the Ravens without their quarterback, but also without their number one wide receiver in Marquise Brown. And they are without 3 key defensive players as well. And then when you look for the Bears, they're without their number one wide receiver as well with Allen Robinson. We know Khalil Mack having foot surgery, no Akeem Hicks, and no Eddie Jackson for this Baltimore Ravens defense, Jim.
Where we're going to see, thank you, Tracy, the Ravens offense on the field first because the Bears have deferred at the top. And let's get this thing started with Devin Duvernay waiting for the kickoff from Cairo Santos. Good to have you with us, folks. Week 11 of the season.